Hey guys, Charlie here, and in today's video, I'll be going through with you the concept of impermanent loss. What is impermanent loss? What you should and should not do with your liquidity pool tokens, or LP tokens for short. I've been receiving some questions from our YouTube comments as well as on Telegram and other social media sites on these LP tokens and impermanent loss. So I would like to take this chance to bring some clarity, and hopefully it will help you out in understanding more about impermanent loss and what you can do to mitigate it. But before I deep dive into explaining it, I would like to share that we are having this giveaway contest for our crypto starter pack that consists a copy of our book, Crypto Assets for Passive Income, an online video course, and $100 worth of BNB or MATIC tokens of your choosing. If you would like to participate in it, just go to the link in the description box down below. Do join our socials such as our Twitter and Telegram group TokenClan for more in-depth discussions on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. And if you are new to our channel, hit that subscribe button and enable the notification bell for more videos such as this. Without further ado, let's get started. We are right now on this Impermanent Loss Explained article by Binance.com. I just want to quickly go through with you its explanation because I find that this article is really helpful for a lot of you out there who doesn't understand about impermanent loss. And later on, I'll be showing you in terms of numbers through a spreadsheet so that you can understand more about the numbers behind this impermanent loss in a simplified manner. To share with you my own opinion on what you should and should not do for your LP tokens. As many of you might know is that a lot of these DEXs out there or decentralized exchanges out there is using this special mechanism which is called this automated market maker. With the introduction of the earlier DeFi protocols such as Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, they all have been using this automated market maker model. And with this mechanism comes this part called impermanent loss, which is normally the risk that is associated with contributing liquidity to the liquidity pool. And this is especially important for you to note what is impermanent loss, because when you provide liquidity to a liquidity pool, the price of your deposited assets will change compared when you first initially deposited them in. To simply put, the bigger this change is, the more you are exposed to this impermanent loss. And the case is that the loss will mean less dollar value at the time of withdrawal than at the time of deposit. And they mentioned that pools that contains assets that remain in a relatively small price range will be less exposed to impermanent loss. Stable coins or different wrapped versions of a coin will stay relatively in a contained price range. So this means smaller risk of impermanent loss for LPs. To summarize this part is to say that the more volatile the asset is, the higher exposure to impermanent loss is. And how does this impermanent loss happen? I will showcase it to you in a simple example on my spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet that I've created just to showcase to you what impermanent loss is. For example, you decided to contribute liquidity into a liquidity pool. And this is the initial portion, the initial part where you contributed token A as well as USDT. So normally it comes in a pair, like your cake BNB pair, your cake USDT pair, something like that. But in this case, I shall name it as token A and USDT for this example. And let's say currently token A price is worth $100 and USDT is 1 USDT, right? So it's a stable coin. And the number of tokens that you normally contribute to a liquidity pool will be 50-50. So it's equal in ratio. You can see that the price value for each token is at 1000 USDT. And for token A, the number of tokens will be 10 tokens that you need to contribute to get 1000 USDT, and USDT you need 1000 USDT. This is the amount that you are contributing into the liquidity pool. And from there, you'll be receiving LP tokens. And based on the number of LP tokens you receive, they will state the number of the share of the pool that you are getting. Let's say, for example, at that point of time of your initial contribution, the total share of pool after your contribution is this 100 of this token A and 10,000 USDT. So your total amount that you have contributed constitute as 10% of the entire pool. And based on their AMM model or automated market maker model, they have this algorithm in place where they have this liquidity constant. This is just to simplify things for you. If I take 10,000 multiplied by 100, I will receive 1 million as my this liquidity constant. This amount here or this number here will be a constant that needs to be maintained. And let's say prices for token A has increased from $100 to $300. Let's say this is a few weeks later and prices of token A has increased from $100 to $300. To maintain this liquidity constant, the ratio of each asset will change accordingly. And how this ratio will change, there will be traders coming in, or what we call as arbitrage traders, to come in to perform trading so that it will realize the price of this token A. And after which, the total amount in the liquidity pool for token A would, from 100 tokens will drop to 40, and the amount of USDT will be increased from 10,000 to 25,000. And you can see that if I multiply 40 times 25, it will reflect 1 million as the constant number. Like I mentioned, this constant number needs to be maintained, so hence the ratio here in my example. And we say that since your share of the pool still remains at 10%, you'll be receiving 10% of token A in this pool, which is only 4, and 10% of USDT, which is 2,500 here. And this is its respective value in USDT. Let's say I come to the calculation on impermanent loss. Let us take the initial investment that you have put in. So the initial investment you have put in for token A and USDT is $1,000 each. And let us take the current LP token value for each token. This is a part where it is still in its LP token state, which means that you haven't unstaked or you haven't break apart these LP tokens into its respective tokens. If we look at the LP value here, for token A, it will be 1,200 because you take the current price of $300 multiplied by the number of tokens you have, it will be 1,200. And for USDT, it has increased to 2,500 here. So this is 2,500. And there is this part called the hodl value. What is hodl value? Hodl value is when the number of tokens you have here initially, you did not contribute into the LP pool. You just hold it in your wallet. Let's say you still continue to hold it in your wallet for token A. You have 10 tokens multiplied by $300, which is the current price. You will have 3,000 in terms of value. And for your USDT, because you have done nothing to it, and it is a stable coin, it will remain at $1,000. Let us sum up the total value here. Initial investment, 2,000. The total LP value added together in terms of USDT is $3,700. And the total hodl value is 4,000. Based on the total value shared here, you can see that the hodl value, if you hold on to your respective tokens, the value is higher than the LP tokens here by a difference of $300. $300 is actually your impermanent loss, which we are talking about for LP tokens here. This means that should you actually hold on to your respective tokens, you can actually make more than what you get for your LP tokens. But why are still people drawn to contributing liquidity into liquidity pools, even though there is this case of impermanent loss here? The answer is very simple. It's because of the interest that is rewarded to these LP providers. And in many cases, you have farms where they are providing a high percentage of APY, APR to attract people to put in into LP and stake their LP tokens to receive these rewards. This is why people are still flocking towards providing liquidity to get LP tokens and get their rewards. And sometimes these rewards far outweighs the value in terms of when you hodl. This is the risk that they are willing to take. Now that you know that this difference between the LP value and the holder value is your impermanent loss, then the next question is that what are the things that you should not do for your LP tokens? My opinion is that you should not be participating in short-term activities for your LP tokens. What do I mean by this? Let's say, for example, you are participating in IEO. You come to PancakeSwap, you go to IFO here. Notice one thing, that in order to take part in their initial offering, they require you to provide LP tokens here. So in this example, providing CAPI and BNB LP tokens. And because you are excited to get yourself involved or participate in this initial offering, you decide to purchase some CAPI and BNB tokens and to create these LP tokens just for this IEO, and you contributed them, and after which the end of the IEO, you get back your unused LP tokens, you decided to break them apart to get back your respective CAPI and BNB tokens. Just by doing that alone within that short amount of time, you are already exposing yourself to impermanent loss, and you definitely most likely experience impermanent loss. This is the one thing that you want to avoid, is that creating LP tokens for short-term purposes, because that is a sure way of realizing impermanent loss. And naturally comes to the next question, what you should be doing with your LP tokens. What you should be doing with your LP tokens is that to stake them into the farms. Like for example, you have created your LP tokens and you go to farms here on PancakeSwap, for example, and you stake them into these farms for as long as possible to accumulate rewards. Let's say if you believe in these token projects and you believe that they will appreciate in value over time, the rewards that you'll be receiving will sufficiently compensate the impermanent loss that you will be experiencing later on in time. This is what you should be doing, staking your LP tokens as long as possible. And should you wish to use your LP tokens for any other purposes like participating in your IEO and other activities, just remove them from the farms and go on with your other activities, and after you are done with it, take the LP tokens and put it back into the farms again to receive rewards. This is something that you should be doing for your LP tokens. And right now, I just be sharing with you my own opinion and experience on how you can mitigate or reduce the exposure to impermanent loss. Let us come back to the spreadsheet here. You will notice one thing is that in my example, I'm using token A, which is a more volatile asset, and USDT, which is stable coin. I will be explaining some scenarios here. Let's say for token A, it's a volatile token, right? And you contribute another volatile token. Let's say it's called token B. For example, in this LP pair, you contribute 2 volatile tokens. For me, I will rank this as the highest in terms of impermanent loss risk, because both tokens are highly volatile. And if they are highly volatile to a certain degree, then your exposure to impermanent loss will be much higher, because the ratio that will change in the pool will be in a higher magnitude as well. If you decide that, let's say token A, you contribute CAPI and token B is BNB, you need to decide whether at the point in time before you decide to contribute them into these LP pools, you need to think thoroughly, because if you value BNB tokens highly, because BNB tokens has a higher cap, is more popular, has much more liquidity compared to CAPI, you value BNB much higher than CAPI, and you do not want to lose your BNB in terms of the number of tokens here, then you should not be contributing BNB to the LP pool. This is one way to protect your BNB tokens, because due to impermanent loss, you will lose some of your BNB tokens. But if you do not really care about this, you just only care about the end result, which is making profits in terms of dollars wise, then you can contribute to this pool. But do note that this category belongs to one of the highest risk exposure to impermanent loss. Another one which I consider as a second category is token A and a stable coin like USDT. This category is slightly lesser exposure to impermanent loss, because for USDT, the price doesn't fluctuate that much as compared to token A, which might fluctuate a lot. Actually, your risk is much more on token A itself. And last but not least is staking both in stable coins. So let's say USDT and maybe your BUSD. When you have two stable coins here, in theory wise, because the price doesn't fluctuate that much, you should not be expecting impermanent loss, right? But actually there still exists a tiny bit of impermanent loss that you're going to experience because of due to the fees and whatnot that is involved. But this is in the category of impermanent loss risk, it is the lowest, which is why you often see that there are farms that consist of stablecoin pairs that has high amount of contribution, because traders want to feel safe. They don't want to have overexposure in terms of impermanent loss, but they still want to get some rewards for their stable coins. These are the three different categories that you can take a look at in terms of decreasing risk in terms of impermanent loss. And the next question is that how do you actually look at impermanent loss or calculate impermanent loss? There are a few tools out there, and one of which that I'm referring to, there are a few tools out there. There is a paid tool and free tools. One of the key features that you want to look out for these tools is that whether they have this impermanent loss tracker or calculator involved. So this is one of the tools that I'm using. This is UWatch. I'm currently using the basic version. I'm not using the paid version. You can see based on their interface here, they have this impermanent loss information that is referring to these Cake and BNB farms. And you can see that this impermanent loss for based on my contribution, which is actually quite little here, but you see that there is impermanent loss. And how it is being calculated here is actually taking the difference between the current value to the hodl value here. This is like one of those tools out there that is able to track impermanent loss for your LP tokens. And I'm sure that there are free tools out there that you can take a look at, which you want to derive or get this key information here. And last but not least, I come back to the Binance article here where they have this chart to showcase this impermanent loss estimation. So you see that they have this summary here to tell you the losses compared to hodling based on the price changes, right? If we click into it, you see that if the price of both of your tokens remains unchanged, then there should not be like any impermanent loss incurred. But let's say if your price of your tokens decrease, there is a sharp decline in terms of the impermanent loss that is going to be incurred. And if the prices increase, there is a gradual increase in impermanent loss. And they have this summary here. If the price of a token changes by 25%, increase of 25%, then there is a 0.6% impermanent loss incurred, and so on and so forth here. So this is something that they want to highlight here. There is something important that you need to understand is that impermanent loss happens no matter which direction the price changes. So I feel that this is an important article for more in-depth detail that you should be reading. I hope that you have enjoyed today's content. Do drop a like and comment in the box down below. How do you handle impermanent loss? How do you mitigate them? Any strategies that you are using to mitigate your impermanent loss or lessen your impermanent loss impact? Also, hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel and enable the notification bell. Do join our socials such as our Twitter and Telegram group TokenClan and participate in our giveaway contest for our crypto starter pack. All the links are in the description box down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.